Your research toolbox. Choosing the winners, the best information sources. You can find a vast amount of information on almost any given topic, produced in various formats by many different authors. But for college-level research, you can't just pick the first 5 or 10 sources you identify. You have to look at your information sources analytically and critically, so you can choose the best. But most of us are not accustomed to looking at information analytically and critically. So how do you determine the value or worth of information sources? Fortunately, there are some generally accepted evaluation criteria that you can use. Most of these criteria can be used for evaluating all types of resources, including books, articles, and websites, although analyzing websites can be tricky, as we will see later. Let's look at some of the criteria. What does authority mean? Well, who is the author? Look at the source to see if it tells you anything about the author's credentials. Books often contain brief biographical information about the author. The authors of articles are usually clearly indicated along with their education and institutional affiliation. If you cannot readily determine enough information to verify an author's authority, you might have to consult other biographical sources, such as Who's Who or American Men and Women of Science. Or you may need to consult a critical review. A review will often give information about the author. Many internet sources do not give the identity or credentials of the author or producer. Websites not giving this information may have questionable reliability and should be examined even more closely. Accuracy. Are the facts accurate? If you have any questions about the accuracy and documentation of a resource, compare it to similar information from other sources. See if the author supports his or her statements with data or references to research. Look at the end of the source for a bibliography or a list of references. Is the source objective? What is its purpose? Is its purpose to inform, to persuade, to report research, or to sell a product? Is the source published by an organization with a particular purpose? Does the source contain the information that you need? Is it too general, too specific? Does it contain technical or specialized language? If it is written for experts in the subject, you may wish to choose another source. Can you detect bias? Does the author provide a balanced view or promote a particular viewpoint? And finally, determine the type of material that you are reading. Is it scholarly or academic? Or is it consumer-oriented or from the popular press? Currency. When was the information published? Is it important to use current sources for the subject? In fields such as medicine, science, business, or technology, currency of information is critical. In fields such as history and literature, older materials may be just as valuable or even more valuable than newer ones. Currency is easy to determine in fixed media such as books, journals, and film or video. It is more difficult to determine updates and revisions of websites if it is not clearly stated somewhere on the site. And finally, check for a review process. Some databases allow you to limit your search to only peer-reviewed articles, while other databases index mostly or exclusively peer-reviewed scholarly journals. To find out whether a journal is peer-reviewed or refereed, look at the front pages of the journal or ask a librarian. If you know something about the publisher, you can often identify bias and point of view. Information may be published by a commercial publisher, an association, a university press, or a government. Organizational, educational, and government sites all have some sort of review process. Many internet sources are not reviewed before being posted. If no review process is stated or evident, you may assume there is none. As we mentioned earlier, website evaluation can be tricky. It is based on the same criteria, but the reason it is more difficult to do is because you have to do the evaluating. Websites do not necessarily go through either an editorial or a review process. Anyone can create a website. Its authors may not be experts in the field. In addition to authority, accuracy, objectivity, and currency, when evaluating a website, you must consider the overall quality of the site. Is the site easy to read and navigate? Does it require any special software to view it? Does it have links, and do all the links work? If the website meets all of these criteria, it is more likely to be a reliable source. This is the criteria that you need to keep in mind when you are evaluating information sources, whether you are evaluating books, articles, or websites. Knowing what to look for will help you detect the real from the imitation, the show from the substance, and help you to choose the winners.